Giant crabs take your city, but you know the one way to stop them. Okay, everybody, it's time for another Brightside video about Crabzilla. Here we go. What is the one way to stop them? How do you stop a giant crab invading your area? Anyone have ideas? I have absolutely no idea. If there were giant crabs invading my city, I'd probably just give up and run. Crab repellent, nuke, tank, BBQ, rocket launcher. Okay, you guys have some pretty violent suggestions. I'm going to assume that nuclear bomb is not the one way to stop giant crabs.
One day, all the crabs disappeared.
Sure.
People searched in the seas, oceans, lakes, rivers, rainforests. Not a single live crab.
Really?
Only old shells.
We searched the rainforest for crabs? I think I could have told you that one.
But why did every single crab molt on the same day? Where are they hiding? 6 months later.
So you're telling me not a single one died, not a single molt could be found, not a single one fell out of its hiding spot or got eaten? Doesn't make any sense.
The fisherman pulls the rod with all his strength. Then the joy on his face turns to fear. A giant crab claw shoots out of the water and snips the fishing line.
Okay, there's no way any normal human could pull the weight of a giant crab through a fishing line. Abso-fucking-lutely not.
Second claw appears and crushes the boat in half with one pinch. Just then, a cargo ship sails by and scares the monster away.
Wow, thank God for that tiny cargo ship.
A huge crab the size of a car is swimming around. Its claw shoots out again and grabs onto the ship's metal hull. The screeching of metal is insane. The captain signals full speed ahead, and with a jolt, the crab's colossal claw comes loose. The ship sails to the shore on a low and mysterious tide.
They just leave the fishermen there? What is this? Okay, all of the crabs molted on the same day. Somehow not a single one died or got eaten or was found for some reason. So they all molted on the same day while hiding. And then suddenly they're giant and they're attacking people.
While they flee, some people video the madness. It goes viral. But they're not alone. People everywhere are coming face to face with these monsters. No one knows what's going on.
Why are they walking backwards?
Crabs dig burrows when they molt. Deep down in the sand, they're protected from predators and bad weather. This time, something weird happened. They hid way deeper than ever before, so they had more time to grow. For 6 months, they've been...
That doesn't make... Okay, 6 months of growing does not turn this tiny little fiddler crab into a fucking car-sized crab just because they dug a little too deep in the sand. Also, why would all of them do it at once? The molting is just to shed the shell. They're still growing at the same rate. It doesn't make any sense.
Been sitting and waiting for their new shell to grow. Now they're out, and they only want one thing: food. A big fish would be delicious, but they can't catch them because crabs don't swim well. But on land, they move pretty quickly. The big fish are safe, but what about the rest of us?
They just got stock footage of some guys jogging, then inserted a giant crab. You think when those guys took that job to just jog for some stock footage, they knew that in a clickbait YouTube video that they would have a giant crab attacking them?
Later, thousands of eyes come out of the water, like 1,000 submarine periscopes. Crabs have excellent vision, and they can spot a potential meal from far away.
Of course they can.
Their eyes can distinguish between houses and moving objects, cars and people. Crabs are running around, cutting down electric poles, overturning cars, and...
Didn't they specifically say they can tell the difference between non-moving objects and moving objects? So they're knocking down the telephone poles just to be dicks? There's no reason for them to do it.
The crabs are everywhere. The only way is up. People scramble up the fire escape.
This is just, he's just reading me the script to a bad action movie. That's basically what's happening. This is the script to a terrible action movie about giant crab invasions. This probably exists, right? There's probably a movie that's like giant crab invasion movie. Attack of the Crab Monsters. Where are the crab monsters? Stingrays, fish. Oh, that's a normal sized crab. Okay, whatever, I'm over it. But there's definitely probably movies like that.
Wouldn't a car-sized crab crumple under the weight of its own exoskeleton?
Oh, you always have to assume that that's the case. The only reason that whales can be as big as they are is because they live in the ocean. So they actually don't have to sustain their weight. Same with a lot of sharks. That's why the moment that they wash up on land, they can't move or fix themselves because they weigh too much. They're not meant to be on land. Their own weight crushes them the moment that they are on land. The only reason that they're sustainable is because they're in the water. So for all of these videos, we just have to totally ignore that fact.
But everything they grab onto, trees, even the metal fire
What about an elephant? They have fat-ass legs that are strong enough to hold them up.
Up on the roof, people watch as crabs destroy their city. Humans hunker down in their homes, but that doesn't stop the crabs. They break down doors and walls. Everyone gathers on the roofs.
We're giving crabs a little too much credit. Crabs are not this intelligent. The crabs would kind of probably just run around for a while. They would not break down doors to hunt down people.
The sky for help. Helicopters finally arrive and evacuate the city. Huge crabs bring huge problems to Christmas Island. It's in the waters between Indonesia and Australia.
Okay.
The islanders pack their bags, drive to the pier, and leave the island. They're pretty scared, but also a bit confused. Once the last human's gone, the island gets quiet. But there still aren't any crabs. What's going on? The sky is overcast, and it's...
You're telling me not a single crab showed up on the island and every human left? There's no shot. There are no set of humans that are that cooperative that they would all listen to the government telling them to evacuate if they weren't in the process of being attacked by giant crabs.
As soon as the first drop hits the ground, a tiny vibration shoots across the land. The rainforest in the middle of the island starts to change shape. Trees fall.
That's not a rainforest. Those are spruce trees.
Giant red crabs poke their heads out.
Okay.
Not hundreds, not thousands, but tens of millions.
Oh.
These crabs migrate every year from the rainforest to the coast of the Indian Ocean to breed. Crab hunters appear all over the world. They trap the monsters
Crab
and tame
hunters.
them. But no, people don't use crabs as pets. They sit on them and joust.
What? Wait, I stopped paying attention for like 3 seconds and suddenly we're riding crabs and jousting. Hold on. Give me a second to catch up. Crab cavalry.
In the Middle Ages, two knights with spears would ride on horseback and charge at each other.
Sure.
Now there are crab tournaments. Supersized crabs instead of horses.
So we've just stopped worrying about the fact that there are giant crabs everywhere hunting us and we've instead tamed them to joust on them?
Try to split a coconut. You'll need a hammer, maybe some other tools.
That dude just did it with a machete and it didn't even look that difficult. You chose the worst stock footage to say, try to split a coconut. Dude just did it with a machete and he really didn't even put that much effort in.
These crabs do it with their claws, but there is some good news out there.
Why? Why'd they do that?
Japan is home to some useful crabs, spider crabs, the largest in the world. These new spider crabs are 5 stories tall, and they take steps 10 feet long. These big, friendly giants mostly eat plants, and they're tame to ride. Kind of like riding an epic...
Why would you ride a 5-story tall crab? Oh yeah, that's right. We are going to have to know the way to stop them.
...camel. Now that crabs don't have any competitors or enemies, their population starts to explode.
That doesn't make sense.
They take over the planet. Humans are...
I hate this theory of like evolution or ecology or whatever, that things get big and then they win. It's like the reason that animals aren't big. You understand that could happen, right? Like in every generation that an animal reproduces, there are individuals which are larger. Like, so take like a dog, for example. Of all of the pups that a dog has in like a breeding season, there are going to be one larger pup. If being larger was significantly better, that pup would survive better, and then the animals would get larger and larger and larger. The reason that you don't get larger is because you need more food. It doesn't work.
Imagine the
crabs are taking over everything. Humans don't have the resources to stop them. It seems like all hope's lost. But just then, they remember. There's no need for scientists and inventors. There's an old fisherman's trick that might just be the key to controlling the crabs. It's called a crab's bucket or crab trap. If you put a bunch of crabs into one bucket, they won't be able to get out.
They got terrorized. Entire cities got torn down. And they just decided, oh, wait, we can just put them in a bucket. And this is their solution. This is the one way to stop the giant crabs.
By instinct, they start to interfere with each other. One crab climbs up, but the other crabs grab it and pull it back down. Doesn't have to be a bucket. The traps can be all kinds of shapes. Funnel.
We just now thought of crab traps. This is insane that human race is going extinct and it took us this long to think of crab traps.
Cube, even pyramid shaped. And that's what people decided to do. They dig deep ditches all over the world and line them with concrete so that the monster crabs can't dig their way out.
The concrete would dry before the... Okay.
Then they lure the crabs in with some tasty fish and seaweed. Once the crabs go in, they're trapped for good. Victory!
Didn't he say there were tens of millions of crabs? This is not a way to deal with tens of millions.
I think an attack helicopter would be more effective.
Yeah, I think a large gun would also be more effective. That's, okay. I think that was the worst Brightside video that I've watched.